Are you ready to get dark? Welcome to John Campea After Dark, the show where we talk about drinking alcohol, the show where we talk about having premarital sex with one or many partners, the show where we talk about eating the last piece of pizza in the box, even though you know that there's somebody there at the party who hasn't had a single slice yet. We're here to talk about dark things. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. My name is John Campea, and this is John Campea After Dark. And it is good to have you guys here. Now, for those, it's been a little while since we've done an After Dark. All right? It's been a little bit since we've done an After Dark, and hello to everybody joining us. And for those of you who may not even remember After Dark, here's what After Dark is. You know, there's a lot of our international friends who never get a chance to watch the John Campea Show live because of the time of day where it is. Maybe you're in a different time zone, maybe you're working, whatever. And so we started doing After Dark kind of as a way to do live companion videos, but then we kind of changed it into a way of doing a live interactive discussion with the audience for people who don't get to watch the show live normally during the day. And it's been a little while since we've been here. Jeremy is saying in the live chats, this is their first After Dark. And it was we didn't announce that this was coming. We just kind of posted this up a little earlier today that we're going to do it. Never announced it. Already got like over 300 of you guys in the live chat. Good to have you here. We'll see how many we have by the time we get to the end of it. But yeah, so here's what it's going to be here today, guys. It's just going to be your live comments and questions that you guys want to ask live. So if you are watching live and you want to get a comment or question, go ahead and use the super chat feature in the YouTube live chat there, and we will address it and get around to it. And listen, this is going to be really casual, super casual, laid back. We'll go for a half hour, 45 minutes, whatever, just talking and hanging out and talking about the things we want to talk about. So it's good to have you guys here. So instead of wasting your time, I'm going to let you guys know about something. Very excited. So you guys know that I had bought, a Tesla for my wife, right? My wife needed a new car. Her car was getting up to be about 12 years old. It had getting close, like it was over 170,000 miles. It was getting close to 200,000 miles. So it was getting up on there. So I decided to buy her a new car, and we had decided that we wanted any new car that we get to be an electric car, right? So I ended up buying her a Tesla. But here's the thing. I fell in love with her car because I got it for her like 3 weeks ago. I have fallen in love with it. So what I did was I took my car, I took it to the dealership, and because of the shortage and because of the chip shortage and all that kind of stuff, I was able to get $6,000 more for my car than what I bought it for 2 years ago. Like I bought the car for like $18,000, $19,000 a couple of years ago. I sold it for like over $25,000 just because of the shortage. So it was like, sweet, I have never sold a car for more than I bought it for. So I took all that money, put some more in, and I went out and I got myself a Tesla. So today, let me see if I can get up here on the page. So today I actually went down and I picked up my own Tesla. And there it is. I brought it home today. Yay, now I got my own Tesla. I mean, the reason I was able to afford it is because I was able to sell my other car for more than what I bought it for. But I just got really jealous of Ann. So I'm all excited. This is the first brand new car I've just bought for myself in a long time. This is the first new car I bought for myself in a long, long time. So I'm very, very happy with it. Like I said, Ann's had that Tesla for a bit. I just fell in love with it. And I'm like, I want to have one of my own. So I went ahead and got it, and yay. Okay, anyway. Oh, dudes, because once you try autopilot on one of these cars, man, there's no going back. There's like no going back once you try autopilot. Anyway, all right, enough of that. Let's get into it and start talking about the stuff you guys want to talk about, shall we? Let's jump on over and see what you guys want to chat about. All right, we're going to start off here with Daniel Charlarka. I hope I'm saying that right, Daniel. Hey, John, in your opinion, which performance is better between Paul Giamatti as Rhino, which was Paul Giamatti is an Oscar-winning, fabulous actor, but that was a terrible, terrible role for him, as Rhino in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, or Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor in Batman vs. Superman? Unpopular opinion. I like Jesse Eisenberg's performance in Batman vs. Superman. I don't care. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I think Jesse Eisenberg gave a perfectly good performance. Now, Do I like all the creative decisions they made for Lex Luthor in that movie? Did they go the direction with Lex Luthor that I personally would have gone with? Maybe not here and there. But overall, I thought Jesse Eisenberg actually gave us a very unique, nuanced, decent, solid look at Lex Luthor. So I will say the unpopular thing that I like Jesse Eisenberg in that movie. I did. I know it's not popular, but so yeah, I'm going to take Jesse Eisenberg, Daniel. All right, next up. Logan Hoyne writes, thoughts on Dexter New Blood so far? Well, as I showed you guys, Dexter and Budweiser sent me this big goodie box because they knew I love Dexter. I love Dexter. I've been dying to see the new season, but I didn't have Showtime. So they sent me this goodie box, and it's filled with like bottles and t-shirts and hats and stuff like that. But it also included a 1-year subscription to Showtime. But Ann and I have been so busy, I haven't had a chance to go and redeem it yet to watch it. So Ann and I are going to binge it as soon as we get a chance, like hopefully this week. But I haven't had a chance to start watching Dexter New Blood yet, so I can't give you my thoughts on it yet. All right. Next up, Ted Wu writes, my favorite MCU movie has been the original Iron Man. Nice. Well, that's all changed. Shang-Chi is my new favorite. Yeah, I'm not going to say Shang-Chi is my favorite MCU movie. Like, I don't think it's as good, say, as, Civil War. I don't think it's as good as the original Avengers movie, but it's definitely in my top 5 favorite MCU films. As a matter of fact, I think it's the best comic book movie since Logan. Like, after Logan, I don't think there's been a better comic book film than Shang-Chi. And I know that includes Black Panther, that includes Avengers Infinity War, that includes Avengers Endgame. I actually think Shang-Chi is the better movie. So, I mean, that's just me, though. That's just me. So I'm glad you liked it that much, Ted. All right, Ted also writes, let's see here. Did Yelena do a hero jump off the roof? Such a poser, I know, right? Like, I wanted to see her land and do the Black Widow landing just as a throwback to the movie. That's a good catch on that one, Ted. All right. DGMC writes, go to the AVN Awards so you can get some dancers. All right, so for those of you who don't know what DGMC is talking about, somebody brought up, and I swear I'm still going to do this someday. We thought it would be hilarious if we just really haven't done any After Darks, but one day when I'm doing After Dark, I'm going to get like go-go dancers, not strippers. I never said stripper. I said go-go dancers, right? I said I should go out and like hire some go-go dancers to just like have some very soft music playing in the background and go-go dancers just dancing in the back. I just thought it would be funny to have go-go dancers dancing in the background the whole time I'm doing an After Dark show. And then I went to try to find go-go dancers to do that. And oh my God, they're really expensive. And good on them. They're worth every dollar. They're performers, but they're really expensive. So I am going to figure it out someday. One of these days, we're going to do an After Dark, and there's going to be go-go dancers in the background as we do After Dark. All right, let's get back to it here. Next up, Richard K. writes in. He's writing in 3 things, 1 of 3. Things I'm certain of in No Way Home. Kraven will definitely appear at some point. I'm not so sure about that at all. I don't think Kraven's going to be in there. Now, I don't know that, and I hope he is. That would be pretty damn cool. Kraven will definitely appear at some point. Andrew or Toby Spider-Man will die. I think there's a pretty good chance of that. Also, we'll see Felicity Jones as Black Cat. I don't think so. I think Sony wants to do their own Black Cat, and I don't think that's Felicity Jones. But things that could happen, but unlikely. You said you'd like to see Affleck as Daredevil. I'd like to see Thomas Jane come through as Punisher. Also, Chameleon is one of the Goblins. I'll say this. Thomas Jane is not my favorite Punisher, although I love Thomas Jane as Punisher. Let me just bring this up here for a second. John Bernthal is not my favorite Punisher, although I love John Bernthal's Punisher. I really do. My favorite Punisher is Ray Stevenson from Punisher Warzone. That's actually, and listen, I love John Bernthal's Punisher. I love both seasons of Punisher. I think he's a great Punisher. But my actual favorite incarnation of Punisher has been Ray Stevens. I've loved his. Absolutely loved his rendition of Punisher. I thought Warzone, honestly, is a woefully underrated movie. I think that is some gritty, awesome action in it. I really like that movie. I love Ray Stevenson as Punisher in it, so I'll go with that one. Anyway, you had one more, I think. Where are we at here? 3. Part 3. Things unlikely in No Way Home. McAvoy's X-Men come through. Yeah, that's probably pretty unlikely, especially with Evan Peters in WandaVision. And Deadpool gets sucked into the MCU permanently. Thoughts on these theories? Well, I've kind of given my thoughts as we go. Again, I don't think we're going to see Deadpool in this movie. With all the heaviness that Tom Holland is talking about and some really heavy stuff, some real tragic stuff, and whatever's going to happen, that's not a good recipe for Deadpool. That's just not a good recipe for Deadpool. So I don't think Deadpool's going to be there. Although, I mean, I know a lot of people would love it. Hell, I'm going to jump up out of my seat if they do. I totally love it. That would be great. But I don't think that's going to happen at all. All right. Next up. Thanks for sending your theories on that, Richard. I agree with some of them. I disagree with some of them. That's exactly the way it should be. All right. Thanks for that, Richard. Next up. Shark Coochie, which of course is mumbled words for charcuterie board, but yes, Shark Coochie writes and sends in like a $20 tip. Thank you, Shark Coochie, who writes, finally, the return of After Dark. Just like a No Way Home trailer, I can see that the dancers behind you have been digitally removed. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yes, they're actually there. You just can't see them from the dark red light in the background. Can you feel the darkness? Anyway, thanks for writing that in, Charcucci. It's good to be back. You know, and the reason I was able to do an After Dark tonight is because Anne is out of town. Her and her brother Ray and our friend Kaori, they went to the WWE SmackDown event at in Los Angeles at what was called the Staples Center and is now called Crypto.com Arena or something like that. For sure, everybody's going to call it the Crypt. Who's not going to call it the Crypt? I'm totally going to call it the Crypt from now on. But anyway, there's that. All right. Chris Miner writes in, I love that feeling of success when I suggest a show to people and they love it. I do too. I love that. I turned my groomsmen on to Ted Lasso. Nice. And our group chat is Diamond Dogs. I'm Ted since I'm the one getting married and my best man is Coach Beard. Seriously, that is a very satisfying feeling when you recommend a show to somebody who hadn't thought to watch it, and then they watch it and love it. You know, Ann and I were just over at Aaron Cummings' house. We were over at Aaron and Tom's house because I was meeting little baby Degnan. And they were just talking again about Ann and I are the ones who turned them on to Harley Quinn. And of course, a bunch of you guys turned me on to Harley Quinn, and I went ahead and turned Aaron and Tom on to Harley Quinn, and they love Harley Quinn. Love Harley Quinn. And that is a really, really good feeling. It's a very satisfying feeling as a movie or TV fan when you get to spread the good news of a good movie or show and then see other people appreciate it. So yeah, and Ted Lasso is a good one to do that with, Chris. I'm glad you did that. And yeah, hey, listen, I'm the one getting married. So you're getting married. Okay, so you haven't gotten married yet. You're getting married. Well, I hope everything goes great for your wedding, my man. All right, next up. Mike Thompson writes, the return of After Dark and Super Chats are active. Yes, for After Dark, they're active. Forget Spider-Man. John's the one bringing the big surprises. Big surprises all day. Yeah, nothing really surprising. Just me. Cup of Diet Coke. Only because I forgot to put new Zevia into the fridge so all my Zevia was warm. So I did have a bottle of Diet Coke in there that was cold. Or Diet Pepsi, I should say. I do like Diet Pepsi quite a bit. I just try not to drink it nearly as much as I used to. Because, you know, the artificial sweeteners are bad for you. Anyway, thanks for that, Mike. Good to be back, man. All right. Our friend Maurice Seifring writes, what do you make of Benedict Cumberbatch's comments that Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness is busy and bonkers, but when asked if it is his movie, he said he is not sure. Further, Benedict said he had great stuff to do in the movie, but not a well-defined story arc. From Screen Rant reporting on a Mark Maron interview, is the movie overstuffed? Well, okay, let's time out for a second, Marie. First of all, let me say, I have not seen this interview and I've not heard it. When asking an actor, okay, but is this your movie? That's kind of putting them in an awkward spot. Because what are they supposed to say? Like, people are going to call him a self-absorbed jerk if he says, yes, it is my movie. So he probably said the best thing he could say. Say, oh, I'm not sure if it's my movie. I mean, that's the best thing you could say, right? Because what else is he supposed to say? As far as, you know, trying to make a decision or making a judgment on, is a movie overstuffed based on a line or two from an interview, trying to determine or make a judgment on anything about a movie based on a line or two in some interview about the movie that's still however many months away, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse. Guys in the live chat, help me out. How long from now, when is the Multiverse of Madness's release date? What is it, like April or so? I can't remember, but it's at least a few months away. If you guys can remind me in the live chat when that's coming out. But in May, all right, Steve James, Spying Mentor, Yo Pierre, a bunch of you guys saying some are saying May, some are saying March 22nd. Maybe it depends on a different country, but most people are saying May. So May. So the movie's still January, February, March, April. The movie's still 5 months away. So trying to make any kind of a judgment call or an evaluation about what a movie's going to be or not be based on a couple of lines in an interview done 5 months in advance before the movie even comes out. Tis folly. 'Tis folly, as they would say in Lord of the Rings. 'Tis folly. There's no point in doing that. So I wouldn't worry about it, Marie. I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't at all start speculating, is it overstuffed? I wouldn't worry about that at all. Don't worry about that at all at this point. All right, thanks for writing in, Marie. Next up, we've got Casey Mack, who writes, John, in some sad sports news, being a Broncos fan, I heard about this. The dude was 33 years old. I just had to mention, sad that we lost one of our fellow football players in Demaryius Thomas last night. The news that came was a shock to me. You know, I didn't read the full story on it. I just saw that he had passed away at 33. I didn't even read what the cause of death was. So I don't know if it was a health issue. I don't know if he was in a car accident. I don't know what the issue was, but it's always sad to hear when somebody so young like that, apparently with the world at their feet, passes away. And that was a very, very sad thing to hear, Casey Mack. Anyway, all right. Rachel Knight Online writes, I have my No Way Home tickets for December 16th. Awesome. To commemorate the 30-year anniversary of when Bucky killed Tony's parents. Was there a date in Captain America Civil War? Was there actually a date? Like, was there a date on the videotape they're watching that said December 16th or something like that? Or are we just guessing that was it? I don't know for sure, whatever it is. Spy Mentor again and Mighty Tank are saying, yes, there was a date on it. And it was December 16th, 1991. That's funny. That's funny that we're going to be seeing the movie on the 30-year anniversary of the death of Tony's parents. I never knew that. I had no idea about that. Thanks for letting me know about it. All right. Mighty Tank 1 writes, I dream After Dark will eventually be like episodes of Ed the Sock Night Party. There's a Canadian deep cut for you. I am familiar with Ed the Sock. I've never watched Ed the Sock. Like, the only sock puppet I ever watched was, what was the name of the damn dog? The Insult Dog. What was the Insult Dog? What was his name? Help me out in the live chat. Was it not Fury? It was something like that. Fury, whatever. Triumph. Thank you, Steve James. Triumph, the Insult comic dog. Oh my God. If you guys, okay, straight up, if you guys have never seen Triumph, the Insult comic dog interviewing Bon Jovi, look up Triumph Insult Comic Dog Bon Jovi. Because if you've never seen that, you've never laughed. You think you've laughed. You think you've had good laughs in your life. But you have not had the real big laughs. Like watching Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. He's a sock puppet that goes around and interviews people. First of all, talking to people in line at the Bon Jovi concert, and then actually interviewing and talking to Bon Jovi. It is one of the funniest things ever. There is also the one where he went to the debut of a Star Wars movie and talked to Star Wars fans in line for a Star Wars movie. Yes, hundreds of men who have never touched a girl and stuff like that. That one's pretty good too. But you got to see the Bon Jovi one and see the Star Wars one because they're both Absolutely awesome. All right. Next up, A-Rod 2006 writes, I'm ready for the biggest comic book movie week in history next week as Daredevil and Kingpin return to the MCU. Maybe. Now bring back John Bernthal's Punisher, Feige. Okay. You know what? Let me say something, A-Rod, and I know you mean it totally well. I know you mean it in fun, but let me just say something here. Let's make sure, because I know you're just joking and having fun, but let's make sure we as a fandom do not become those people. Let's not be like, if Feige gives us some pretty cool fan service stuff, let's not become those people where we're like, now we demand more. Like, let's not become those people where instead of going, like, let's say they do give us Charlie Cox and D'Onofrio's Kingpin. Okay, let's say they do. Let's say Kevin Feige does do that. Then let's be the type of fandom that goes, awesome, thank you, Kevin Feige, for that. That was awesome, thank you. Let's not become like that darker corner of fandom that then starts going, oh, they gave us Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. Well, listen up, Feige, you better fucking give us John Bernthal now. We're going to fucking start petitions. We're going to start review bombing thing. And if you don't give us John Bernthal now, and while you're at it, give us Jessica Jones too, you better do it. You better do it. We're like, let's not be that. Because I still remember when the whole Snyder Cut thing happened, right? Like, Warner Brothers decides, because there's this huge swell fan campaign. They wanted a Snyder Cut. They wanted a Snyder Cut. So Warner Brothers says, you know what? Okay, we'll put up $70 million so they can actually make a Snyder Cut. Because up until at that point, all Zack Snyder had was an edit of all the footage that he had shot sitting there, but it was completely unfinished, not ready to be seen by anybody. And Warner Brothers said, you know what? We're going to give you what you want. We're going to put up $70 million and we're going to give you a Snyder Cut. And then what did the fandom do after that? Did the fandom go, thank you, Warner Brothers. Thank you so much for doing that. We know it's not part of the regular thing anymore, but we really wanted to see it, and you put up your money, and you let us see it. Thank you, Warner Brothers. Is that what they did? No. They went, we made them do what we wanted them to make, what we wanted them to do. Let's make them do more. And then all of a sudden it went from, release a Snyder Cut to restore the Snyderverse. Now they're like, we're going to fucking review bomb your movies, Warner Brothers, unless you fucking give us more now. So like, instead of saying thank you, they became like freaking online terrorists saying, trying to hold, in an allegorical kind of way. They were like, oh, now we're going to try to hold you hostage until you give us what we want more. Now you give us more instead of saying thank you. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again, shall we? So like, if Feige does end up giving us, if Feige and Sony do end up giving us Charlie Cox Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio in Marvel's Hawkeye or whatever, if they do, let's in advance prepare ourselves to take on an attitude of gratitude and say thank you for giving us that. Instead of the attitude of whiny little fucktards going, now give us more, we demand more, and we'll boycott you if we don't get what we want. Like, let's make sure that doesn't happen. Because I'm sure there's going to be some people that do that. I am just getting ready for after Charlie Cox gets revealed, if that happens, after Vincent D'Onofrio gets revealed, if that happens, I am positive. Not you, A-Rod, not you. But I am already know there's going to be, I'm just waiting to see it in my news feed. Petition starts demanding Marvel bring John Bernthal back as Punisher. And don't get me wrong, I would love John Bernthal back as Punisher. I would. Don't get me wrong. But, the petition started demanding that they bring back Inhumans. No one's going to sign that petition, let's be honest. But I just know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And I really hope they don't. I really hope they don't, but it's going to happen. There's going to be that segment of Marvel fandom that is just like, instead of saying, hey, awesome, let's celebrate that we got this thing that we kind of wanted, instead of going, now you listen up, Feige. You fucking give us what we want. We want this now. We're going to start boycotting you. We're going to start review bombing Marvel movies. Blah, blah. You just know there's probably a segment of Marvel fandom that's going to do that. I really hope not, though. I really hope not. All right. Anyway, let's move on here. Next up, we got Casey Mack, who writes, you mentioned that No Way Home is pretty much the Super Bowl when it comes to movies today. Right, this year it is. It absolutely is. So what will be the Super Bowl next year? Avatar 2, The Batman, Jurassic World 3? Man, I don't know. Yeah, so this came about when somebody in my live chat prior to the show starting whining and bitching and complaining. She's like, why is a Spider-Man story the headline again? Well, because Spider-Man is the number one thing in the world of movies right now. Like it's going to be the biggest box office film in years. It is the biggest event going on. It's a movie that crashed websites. That's why. And they're like, and I had a little conversation with them. Like, that's all you talk about. 500% of everything you're talking about is Spider-Man. I said, no. I said, today we have 6 stories we're talking about. Only one of them is a Spider-Man story. This week we have had 32 stories we've talked about. Only 5 of them have been Spider-Man stories. The Spider-Man stories are still vastly the minute, fractional part of what it is we're talking about. But I said, Spider-Man is the Super Bowl right now. Like, you think you can tune into a sports show with 2 weeks to go to the Super Bowl, and you think any sports show is not headlining their show that night talking about something to do with the Super Bowl? Of course they are. They'd be fools if they didn't. I mean, I'm sure they'll talk about baseball and they'll talk about basketball and they'll talk about hockey and they'll talk about what, UFC or boxing or whatever. They'll talk about all that stuff too. But 2-3 weeks outside of the Super Bowl, every front story is going to be something connected to the Super Bowl. Whether it's the latest predictions about the Super Bowl, whether about who's going to be the halftime show performer at the Super Bowl, whether it's going to be about, who's going to be the starting quarterbacks for the Super Bowl versus what zodiac sign is the water boy for the AFC team in the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter because that's the number one story. And so, yes, I unapologetically, not because I planned it that way, but because literally for this week, the number one story of interest is going to be anything that's connected to Spider-Man. That's what we all want to talk about right now. It is the Super Bowl week when it comes to movies this year. It's a good question asking about what's the Super Bowl movie next year? I don't know. That's a good question. The one I am most looking forward to is the Batman. That is the one I am most looking forward to, is the Batman. I am most excited for that. But, we got Thor, Love and Thunder. We got Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. I mean, depending on how Spider-Man No Way Home ends, it could really tee up Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, yes? So there's that. Avatar 2 is going to be big. I don't know that it'll be that big. Jurassic World 3 is definitely going to be big. I don't think it'll be that big, but I think we got a couple of Super Bowl movies. Next, I think the Batman, Doctor Strange, Thor. I think those are our Super Bowl movies next year. But I don't know. Maybe if I sat down and looked over a full release schedule, I'd come up with some other ones too, but there's that. All right, thanks for that, Casey. All right, Al Renshaw writes, we need you and Chef Pleasures to do this show wearing velvet robes while sitting in big leather chairs. Big surprises. Hey, listen, if I had the budget to bring in some big leather chairs and set up a different set and all that kind of stuff and be wearing velvet robes with, I don't smoke, but maybe put a fake pipe in my mouth, and I don't drink, but maybe have a fake glass of brandy in my hand. It's weird that the host of a show called After Dark does not drink and does not smoke, but I don't do either. But yes, I would do a fake brandy, or maybe fill it with brandy, just never actually drink it. Have a brandy in my hand and a fake pipe and say, yes, let's talk about all these dirty, dirty things. That would be fun. All right, Al Renshaw also writes, what happened / is happening to Florence Pugh on Instagram is shameful. I guess internet trolls have nothing else to do but complain. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea what's going on with Florence Pugh on Instagram. I generally don't care about what's going on with a celebrity on social media normally, but it sounds like she's getting harassed on it. If that's true, that's terrible, but I honestly have no idea what's going on, so I can't comment on it, unfortunately. All right. Casey Mack writes, The cast for Nolan's next movie just keeps on getting bigger. Yes, it does. Oppenheimer is getting a huge cast. Florence Pugh, Rami Malek, and Ben Safdie was recently added to a cast that already included Robert Downey Jr., already includes, why am I forgetting the name of the guy who plays Scarecrow and is the lead in the film? I'm looking at his face in my head and I'm freezing on his name. At any rate, yes, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's everybody wants to act in a Cillian Murphy. Everybody wants to act in a Christopher Nolan film. I think that movie's going to be great. Great source material, great true life story, amazing cast. I cannot wait for it. All right, next up. Wiley Todd writes, "Hey, John, what is your anticipation level for Avatar 2 next year?" You know what? Somebody just mentioned Avatar. That's a very good question. You know, my general feeling about Avatar 2 has been it's too late. Like, this Avatar movie should have come out like 5 years ago. And I'm constantly feeling like it's too late. But then I was sitting around one afternoon, had about 45 minutes to kill. And I don't know what prompted me to do it, but I saw one of the TV stations like had Avatar on. So I just turned it on for a second. And I'm like, you know what? Damn, if this isn't a really great movie. It became popular to shit on Avatar. Like, that became the cool thing to do. If you wanted to run with the cool kids, you had to pretend like you were shitting on Avatar. It became the cool thing to shit on Avatar. But I'm watching it, and like, don't get me wrong, I never thought Avatar should win Best Picture at the Academy Awards or anything. But I'm watching this again for like 15, 20 minutes. I'm like, damn, this is a really freaking good movie. And so my excitement for it gets elevated a little bit. But it's hard to stay excited when there's just been, for 5, 6, 7 years, it's just been delay after delay after delay. I predict I'll get pretty excited about it as it actually gets closer. I mean, not Batman level excited, not Quiet Place level excited, not Spider-Verse level excited, but I think I'll probably get pretty excited for it once it starts to get closer, Wiley. All right. Spying Mentor writes, where are the dancers at, John? Yeah, I know. So one of these days. All right. Ross Bristow writes, how was West Side Story? You know what? We didn't get to go to it. So last night, Ann and I I was supposed to do a couple of things. I was supposed to watch a little bit of the Game Awards, which is really just 3 hours of commercials. But I was going to watch a little bit of Game Awards. Ann and I were going to go see West Side Story, and I was going to do a companion video. Some stuff came up, and I ended up not being able to do my companion video. Ann and I ended up not being able to go to West Side Story. So I ended up watching all the Video Game Awards, which is almost a complete waste of time. But yeah, I didn't see it yet. So Ann and I had to move our tickets to go see West Side Story tomorrow afternoon. So tomorrow afternoon, while Tom Brady is playing, I'm going to be going to the movie theater to see West Side Story. So I'll give my thoughts on it on Monday's show. Thanks for asking, Ross. All right, CMG 2491 writes, "Hey, John, got my tickets for No Way Home. Nice. For Saturday and Sunday. Nice. Saturday, I'm going solo, and Sunday with my friend and his dad. I cannot wait." Yeah, I will, if I enjoy it. I'm going to see it twice on the 16th. So twice on Thursday. We've got our private theater screening earlier in the day, and then I'm going to drive into Hollywood later that night to go watch it at the Chinese theater with a couple of friends. Then whether or not I see it again after that will depend on if I like it. But if I really do like it, then I'll probably see it 4 or 5, 6 times. And I'm sure at least 1 or 2 of those times I'm going to go myself too. All right. Jordan Harper writes, "If Toby and Andrew are in No Way Home, I predict they have less than 20 minutes of combined screen time." I completely agree with you. I completely agree. Yep. 100% agree. Like, it'd probably be more than 5 minutes, but I don't see them having, if they are in this, I don't see them having more than 20 minutes at the most, at the very most. So, yeah, so much more than just some quick cameo, but not a big, huge, significant role in the film. So I agree with you, Jordan. All right, next up, we've got Dr. Nova. Dr. Nova writes, Star Wars, Christmas story. My 4-year-old cousin gave me a lightsaber. Oh, that's adorable. And challenged me to a fight. I can take him. He's 4, but he used the Force. Bloody cheater using space magic. That's a great. First of all, I hope you got that on video because that's precious. That's absolutely precious. Me, I still would have kicked the kid and gone, I'm the winner. That's totally what I probably would have done. I went, kicked him over. You got to teach the kid that life is merciless, Dr. Nova. You got to teach him early that life is merciless. So I hope you got that on video. That sounds precious. All right, Kyle writes, hey, John, have you seen the past couple of days Tom Holland trying to really sell that Andrew and Toby aren't in the movie? Thoughts? Nah. But I mean, look, him, Andrew, they've all been doing it. It's irrelevant. It's a non-story at this point. Doesn't really matter. They're in it or they're not in it. Nothing that Toby or Andrew or anybody says at this point is going to change whether they're in it or not. They're either in it or they're not. We all believe they are, regardless of what they say, and that's fine. But yeah, I don't believe that for a second, nor do I feel it's even worth worrying about, Kyle. All right, next up, Phil Corvelli writes, how do you feel about weed? Do you partake? I don't know if you drink, but I was curious. So this is what I will do. Generally speaking, like, weed doesn't have any impact on me. Like, it doesn't have any effect. Except, I did find out this one time when Ann got me to try a bunch of these gummies, I realized I got really tired. This one time off of this one set of gummies. And I'm actually a guy who has a very, very hard time going to sleep. I mean, a tidbit about me, I actually take sleeping pills every night. Because before I did, there would literally be 2 to 3 nights a week where I would go to bed and literally 4 o'clock in the morning would roll around and I'm still just laying there in bed like this. Like still trying to fall asleep. And then I don't get any sleep and then I get sick and whatever because I'm not getting any sleep. So about 3 years ago, I started taking these Kirkland brand sleeping pills because they're non-habit forming. So I started taking them before going to bed, and now like maybe once a month I have a hard time getting. But I'm a guy who has a hard time getting to sleep. And then when I discovered that those things made me kind of like really sleepy, I actually went to a dispensary and I picked up like a big container of these CBD gummy things. And I mean, I don't get them often, like maybe once every 3 or 4 months we'll get some. But other than that, no, I don't smoke. I mean, I don't smoke anything. I don't have any problem with weed. I don't care if anybody smokes weed. It's not a problem with me. Just like I have no problem if anybody drinks. I don't like the taste of alcohol. So yeah, I don't do it myself, but I have no problem with it. All right. Next up. Let's see here. Gary Phillips writes, hey, John. Excited for this month's releases, Spider-Man, The Witcher, and Cobra Kai. Again, super excited. Happy holidays, and God bless happy holidays. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, you guys know I have zero interest. I don't watch Cobra Kai. I tried the first 3-4 episodes of it when it came out. I was very excited about the show. I watched the first 3 episodes. I'm like, nope, I'm out, and I tapped out. And let me just say this about something. And I've given Rob a hard time about this. So he knows I give him a hard time about this. So, but it's not just Rob. It's like, here's what I don't understand. And by the way, Rob, for those of you who are coming to our private screening, Robert Meyer Burnett is going to be at our private Spider-Man screening so you guys are going to get a chance. If you haven't met Robert before, you're going to have a chance to meet Robert at our private screening on Thursday. Anyway, what I do not get about Rob and about other people who do this as well. See, when I watch a show and I don't like the show, you know what I do? I tap out. If I watch a show and I'm not liking it, I tap out. Just that simple. I'm a big Star Wars fan, but as I started watching, what's it called again? Bad Batch. I thought the first episode of Bad Batch wasn't bad. And then after episode 2 and 3, I'm just like, nah, this is not for me. I'm sure there are going to be others that like it, and that's awesome, but it's not for me. So, I watched the first about 3 episodes of Bad Batch. I told people, I kind of liked the first episode. I didn't really like the last 2. They weren't for me. So I tapped out. I'm not going to watch it anymore. And that's it. Done. If somebody asks me about my thoughts on Bad Batch, I'll tell you. It didn't work for me. I thought the first one was okay. Had some real problems with the second 2 episodes. But you know what? Other people like it. That's great. Just not for me. And I tap out. What I don't understand is if you don't like a show and it doesn't work for you, why continue to watch every episode just so you can get online and bitch and moan about that episode? Why do you keep doing it? Like I remember I've asked Rob this. It's like, Rob, listen, sit down, listen, man to man, take a deep breath. You clearly don't like Star Trek Discovery. I do, but you don't, and that's cool. So why do you continue to watch every single episode just so you can get online and whine and cry about Star Trek Discovery? Just tap out, say the show's not for you, and don't watch it anymore. I'm sure there's a lot of things that you like that you don't. And so Rob and I go back and forth on that all the time. But I mean, I see a lot of people doing that online. Like a lot of people doing that just so it's like, well, I hate this thing, whether it's the new Doctor. I don't watch Doctor Who myself, but like I've seen so many YouTube channels that are like, well, I hate Doctor Who now. Everything they do in Doctor Who now sucks, but they watch every single episode just so they can bitch and cry and moan and complain about it. It's like, dude, if you don't like it, just tap out and stop watching it and then use your time to go and watch something that gives you joy. If I'm watching something that's not giving me joy, I stop watching it and I look for something else to watch that does give me joy. And then I'm not spending all my time just crying and bitching and shitting in the crib the whole time about a show, trying to steal other people's joy of that. So instead of me just continuing to watch Bad Batch and do my weekly update about how Bad Batch sucks and just stealing other people's joy, just go tap out. So anyway, Cobra Kai. I tapped out. It was not for me. It just didn't work. And so I tapped out. My wife loves it though. Anne loves Cobra Kai. Absolutely adores it. Witcher, super excited about it. They're sending me Witcher on Monday. They are sending me Witcher season 1 on Monday. So I'm going to get to watch Witcher a little early. I'm very, very excited about that. Very, very stoked. And of course, Spider-Man's coming, Gary. So yeah, I'm really, really, really excited about that too. I'm really excited about that. All right, next up. James Lockman writes, I was expecting to see you in a smoking jacket or laying on a bearskin rug. What gives, LOL? Or laying across the hood of your new car. Congrats on the awesome new car. Thank you. I love it. Listen, you know what I love most? No, okay, I was about to lie. I don't love this the most. The thing I love most is autopilot. Oh my God, I love autopilot. I don't know if you can tell from this picture, but look at let me see, can you see my mouse on screen? I think you can. Okay, you see my mouse on screen? See this black cable? I love not going to the gas station. Oh my God, I love not going to the gas station. I just back up my car, grab the power cable, plug it into the car, and this car's got 340 something miles range, 340 mile range on a charge. So every day, it's a full charge. You got a full tank of gas every day. It's so sweet. I love it so much. I'm very, very excited. I highly recommend, guys, whenever you're up next looking for a new car, and like I said, Anne went 12 years without getting a car. I was driving a 2001 Acura Integra for many, many years. But when it comes time for you that you're able to grab a new car, I highly recommend looking at these Teslas, man. I just love them. I'm really, really in love with them a lot. Anyway, okay, next up. Where are we at? We are at... was that James? Yes. Now we're at CMG 2491. And CMG 2491 writes, now a tech question. Love tech questions. Looking to upgrade my audio interface for my podcast. Thinking about the Zoom PodTrack. I Love Zoom. Anyway, the Zoom Pod Track, or should I say for the Rodecaster Pro? I'll tell you what. So I don't have, do I have a camera in here I can just turn over? I don't right now, but I have this thing called the Rodecaster Pro, right? Let me see if I can bring this up here so you guys can know what we're talking about. Here we go. Okay. So I use this device called the Rodecaster Pro. That is my audio interface of choice. That's what I use. So let me see if I can just bring a picture up on screen so you guys can see it. Okay, so here we go. This is my audio interface. All right. And I can plug up to 4 different microphones into it. Plus, I can have a USB device plugged into it. Plus, I can connect my phone via Bluetooth to it, all that kind of stuff. The big colored pads, I can have some pre-programmed sound effects, although I never use that. It's a very, very good, and then it all just plugs in via USB into your computer. That is the sound device that I use. So all my microphones plug into that thing. Ray's microphone, Kim's microphone, they all plug into that sound mixer. And then that sound mixer connects via a USB cable into my computer and brings all the audio into my computer. It's a wonderful device. It's a little pricey. It runs about $500, maybe $600. Okay, maybe $500 or $600. Now Zoom. Let me show you one of my favorite pieces of tech that I have. This is the Zoom H6, right? And see if it'll. Yeah, there it goes. This is the Zoom H6. This has 4 audio inputs. I can plug 4 microphones into this thing, and then I can use these dials to control the levels of the microphone, all that kind of stuff. I can engage all the different tracks there. Just hit record. It takes an SD card on the side. So this can plug also directly into your computer as a USB audio interface. So you can plug in 4 microphones and they can control it all with your computer. Or I use this thing for my documentary. Movie Trailers, A Love Story. We use this. We use this to record all the audio. So we take this out, we plugged in the boom mic that went above our guests, and then we put an SD card in it and recorded all the audio, recorded the video to the camera, then we'd bring it into the editing suite, match the audio and video up. This works great, and you can get a Zoom H6 now for probably about $200. Probably about $200. This thing is great. Now, they've got a new version called the Zoom Pod Track, right? And it's even more feature rich and all that kind of stuff, a little bit expensive. But yeah, I'm telling you, you probably don't need something as full featured as the Rodecaster Pro, to be honest with you. It'd probably be a little bit of overkill. I am a big fan of the Zoom product. So yeah, if you get a chance to get that Zoom product, you go ahead and get that Zoom product. It's a really, really good thing to get. All right. I love tech questions. Thanks for asking, man. All right. Next up, Jack Hill. Moon Knight vibes. A hero with I always stumble over my words when I try to say dissociative identity disorder. Hopefully won't be given the Marvel quippy treatment. Hoping more route of Punisher. Maybe yes, maybe no. Look, every single Marvel character, DC character, whatever, takes liberties from what's in the comics. Remember, this is my mantra anyway, Jack. The number one job of the filmmakers is not to be as close to the source material as possible. That's not their job. Their job is make the best movie possible. Or in this case, series. So take some thematic things from there, but I just want them to do whatever they need to do to make the best thing possible. And let's see what they do. Let's see, because if they do a direct translation, it may not work out all that well on the big screen. Like direct translations from the page to the screen don't always work out so well. You always got to have some adaptation, and we'll see what degrees or levels of adaptation they do here. Okay, next up, Daniel Salazar writes, hi, John. If Kevin Feige does an X-Men universe separate from the MCU, and he's not, what would be the pros and cons? I'm not saying it's going to happen, so thoughts. There are no cons. There's only pros. And the pros is you don't have to continue to stuff an already overfilled MCU with 50 new X-Men universe characters, or ignore tons of X-Men characters because the MCU is already so overstuffed. You put them in a separate universe to have their own stories. Their hands aren't tied by the events of the MCU. It's what they should do. It's not what they're going to do. It's what they should do. All right, next up, Chris Barkanis writes, Spider-Man No Way Home predictions. 95%, and Toby and Andrew are in the movie. I agree. 50% Charlie Cox is in the movie. I agree with that as well. 99% Ray should be in the movie. He absolutely should be. 100% the movie's going to be awesome. I mean, look, you never know. Every movie could be terrible. Every single movie that's ever come out in history could be terrible. But Kevin Feige's earned the benefit of the doubt. John Watts, the director, has done a great job with the first two films, Homecoming and Far From Home. I don't see any reason not to have faith in this movie. So I'm not going to say 100% this is going to be awesome, but I don't see any reason not to have any faith in it. All right. Portals of Bermuda writes, have you seen Green Street Hooligans? Yes, starring Elijah Wood. I think it's such an underrated movie. That's a deeper cut. What year did that come out? Hold a second. Let me bring it up. Oh, maybe if I spelt it right, dummy. Okay. I'm going to guess 2002. Because that was a movie that also had Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy in it. Oh, no, it's 2005. Sorry, I stand corrected. Came out in 2005. And Claire Forlani, if that's how you pronounce her name too, she was in Mystery Men as well. I like that movie. It's been a while. That movie is now 16 years old. That movie is now 16 years old. That's crazy that it's that old. Anyway. Yeah, I like that one. It's a good one. It's not a movie that was universally beloved by any stretch of the imagination, but that's one I actually kind of liked. That's a good one to bring up, man. I haven't had anybody bring that one up before. Well done. All right. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, guys, I'm going to turn off the super chat because we've gotten tons and tons and tons of questions and comments, and I want to make sure we get through all of them tonight. So I'm going to turn off the super chat in about 2 minutes or so. So if you still want to get in a comment or question to be read on the show, you got about 2 more minutes to fire one in, and then I'm going to shut it off because I want to make sure we get through all of them tonight. All right. Next up, John Redcorn writes, I'm starting to think Black Panther 2 will get delayed again, especially after the Letitia Wright drama. Yeah, by the way, all the stuff that's been going around today about Marvel's going to fire her, she doesn't want to come back. I just want to stress, none of those come from reliable news sources. Like, none of those reports, as far as I can tell, have come from reliable news sources. But there is a problem, right? Like, she's one of these science deniers and she doesn't want to get vaccinated, but you got to be vaccinated. But then she went home and now she's not allowed to fly. She's now not allowed. It's a government rule. She's not allowed to fly back into that country unless you're vaccinated, and she refuses to get vaccinated. This is going to cause a real problem for the production. So I don't know how they're going to fix this. I mean, Marvel's going to try to work some of its magic, but I just don't know how they're going to fix it. So yeah. I don't know. Again, I wouldn't put a lot of weight in the reports that have been coming out today because, again, I haven't seen any of them come from any reliable news source. It doesn't mean they're not true. I don't think there's a reason to believe they're true quite yet, but there is drama going on there. And yeah, Black Panther 2 just keeps facing problem after problem, struggle after struggle to try to get this thing made. All right. Mighty Tank 1 writes, how are you liking your PS5? Played any games yet? The only game I have played on my PS5 so far is that little robot one that comes pre-installed to help you get adjusted to the controllers. And then Ann and I last night downloaded It Takes Two, the game that won Game of the Year. But it was like 30-something gigs, so we didn't have a chance to actually play it last night. We're going to play it probably sometime tomorrow because she's out of town tonight. Tomorrow we'll give it a shot, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. All right, James Lockman writes, congrats on the PS5 also. Thank you. I picked up Hades for the PS5. We actually have Hades on our Nintendo Switch. Hades is a great game. Great game. Plays really well on the Switch too. But anyway, so we already have that game. I picked up Hades for the PS5 not too long ago, but I haven't played it yet. Looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. That's the main reason Anne wanted a PS5, was to play Hogwarts Legacy. God of War Ragnarok and Gran Turismo 7. Yeah, I am very, very excited about Hogwarts Legacy too. My wife really got me excited about that. That's the main reason she wanted one. But yeah, if you haven't played Hades yet, get ready. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of fun playing Hades. It is a really great, fun, It's not just fun, it's also funny. The action in it is fantastic. It's got completely wonderful stories going with it. The voice acting in it is incredible. And just the way the game plays, the fact that you've got to fail over and over and over again to actually, it's just a wonderful game. It was nominated for Game of the Year. I believe I think it might have been last year. I think it was nominated for Game of the Year against the Ghosts and against Animal Crossing and against Last of Us 2. I think it was last year. Anyway, you're going to have a great time playing it. You totally are. I'm very excited for you to try it out. Okay, next up. We've got Josie Reviews writes, Mr. Campea, love doctor, double booker. I need assistance. My wife told me to pick up 6 cans of soda, but I accidentally picked 7 up. All right, I'll give you the drum roll for that. There, I gave you the drum roll for it. I accidentally picked 7. All right. All right, Chloe Fanning writes, excited for No Way Home and Roland Emmerich's Moonfall. Tell you what, I had not even heard of Moonfall. Well, I barely heard of it. When Aaron and I went to CinemaCon, they showed us this big presentation on Moonfall. It does look kind of nutty, Lori, or Chloe. It looks kind of nutty. All right, Lori Adamson writes, Tom Holland was saying in an interview that he, Toby, and Andrew have a WhatsApp group together, but continue to flatly deny that they are in the movie. And again, look, I don't know why anybody still wants to talk about it. We all know they're in the movie. We all know they're in it doesn't matter what they say, that we all know they are. And if it turns out they're not, then they're not. But I mean, I don't know why he brings up that he's got a chat going with them, but that they're not. Just don't mention that you've got a WhatsApp chat group going with them. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Anyway, thanks for sending that in, Lori. All right, Yo Pierre writes, hey, John, I am still seeing people trash on WandaVision because of false expectations, John Boner. Why they believed Quicksilver would come, even though Feige said he doesn't want to use those characters. I tried so hard to convince people that that was not Quicksilver, and nobody wanted to believe me. Everybody said I was smoking the good stuff. Everybody said I was crazy. But I told everybody from the beginning, that's not Quicksilver. They're not bringing in Quicksilver at this point. It's just not him. I thought it was a brilliant move by Kevin Feige. Hold a second. Let me, hold a second. One second here. Let me just, hello.
Hey, honey.
Hey, honey, I'm actually doing a live show right now. You're kind of on the air.
Hi.
Okay. It says hi. What's up, baby?
Oh, no, I thought you, never mind. I'm coming home with the dogs.
Oh, like the event's already done. You're back in town?
Oh, yeah, it was done like a 7.
Oh, okay. So you're going to pick up the dogs?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, I'm good. I got everything I need. So I'll be doing the show when you get home. Okay. Okay. Love you, babe. Okay. All right. That was my wife, ladies and gentlemen, Ann Campea. So I guess SmackDown ended earlier than I thought. Okay. Where are we at? Oh yeah. Using Evan Peters was genius. Come on, that's the kind of thing that people would say, you know what they should do? If they're going to have somebody show up that they think it's Wanda's long-lost brother, they should totally cast Evan Peters to do that. And that's exactly what Kevin Feige did. And then everybody talked themselves into thinking that's exactly who it is. And it wasn't. And it was a great move on their part. But they didn't do what I wanted them to do. Whatever. I thought it was brilliant. God, I love that move. I thought that move was so awesome. Anyway, okay, next up. Let's see here. Kevin Morales writes, John, Delroy Lindo, who is awesome, to be in Blade movie, yes. Many guesses, probably mean any guesses, on who he's going to play? Nope. However, I personally think he will be Hannibal King to help Blade. Man, I don't know. Hannibal King still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Because I still think about Blade 3, and God bless Ryan Reynolds, but Ryan Reynolds playing Hannibal King, that movie was so bad. I mean, listen, Jessica Biel was good in it. Ryan Reynolds was good in it. It's just that whole movie was so bad. So I think he would be a great whistler. Personally, I think he would be a fantastic whistler. But maybe he's Dracula. I don't know. No guesses. I'm just excited that he's going to be in it. All right. James Lockman writes, I love the Star Wars Eclipse trailer that was shown on the Video Game Awards. Anything catch your eye? There's this one. First of all, I'll say the unpopular thing. I don't know what everybody's so excited about that Star Wars trailer about. I have no idea what that game is. I have no idea. Is it a real-time strategy game? Is it a first-person game? Is it a puzzle game? Is it a MMORPG? I have no idea what that game is. None. And cinematic cuts don't actually tell you anything about a game. And it's set during the High Republic. Okay. I mean, yeah, if my fellow Star Wars fans are excited about it, yay, great. I just don't see what there was to be all that excited about, to be honest with you. But that's just me. That's just me. I'll tell you one game that really did catch my eye. And it's one that I never would have thought. But that, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like TCHIA or something. But it kind of had like a Zelda Breath of the Wild feel to it, where it's that little girl on an island. She's constantly using a blanket to kind of parachute around and paraglide around and stuff like that. That looked like a pretty fun little game. Al Johnson's Variety Channel saying it's Tachia. I gotta say, that looked... Oh, you know what the other one? What was it called? Warhammer Warrior Priest? Was that it? Warhammer Warrior Priest? Yes, where the guy talked like this. Yeah, he kind of sounded like a poor man's Skeletor. And like me and Ray and our buddy Ryan, we're watching this last night and we talked in that voice for like 10 minutes straight. Yes, you are unworthy, the sinners. And then Ray and I said, we should totally do the John Campea Show tomorrow, totally in those voices. And I totally forgot about it. But that aside, Warrior Priest looked pretty interesting to me. But yeah, those are two games that really stood out to me. But honestly, it was a pretty underwhelming video game awards this year. Pretty underwhelming. To be honest. I mean, it didn't suck. I'm just saying it was just kind of underwhelming to me. All right, next up. Ablo CD writes in. The biggest surprise in No Way Home is going to be John Campea coming through the portal singing More Than Words. Yes. John the Rockstar Campea. I'm telling you guys, I was a rock star. For those of you who didn't see the John Campea Show earlier today, I showed somebody who's asking, hey, John, you got any like pictures from the 90s or something like that of you? And I pulled up a picture that was from like an album cover of me with my longer hair with the bandana leaning on a tree with my leather jacket over my... Oh, yeah, you had to take it in. You had to take in the glory. All that glory. All right, let's see. Prince Zodiac writes, did you notice the Rogers the Musical billboards in the Spider-Man No Way Home opening scene Sony released that weren't in previous trailers? I did not. I saw that opening scene. I think he revealed it on Fallon. I think it was on Jimmy Fallon that they released, like they showed the opening scene. I didn't catch the Rogers the Musical, but that would make sense. He's in New York. We know Rogers the Musical is in New York, so that would make sense. But I did not catch that myself. That's funny. All right. Let's see here. Andrew Huffman writes, John, I feel like Hawkeye is getting very crowded. A lot of villains, Swordsman, maybe Kate's mom, Tracksuit Mafia, Echo, Black Widow's sister, maybe Kingpin. But it doesn't matter. First of all, Swordsman isn't a villain, just so we know that. We don't even know what Kate's mom's role. I suspect she's a villain, maybe. The Tracksuit Mafia are just henchmen, so that's not a big deal. Black Widow's sister, she's not a villain. We know that's going to be a complicated situation. Kingpin, maybe. So I don't really feel like it's getting very crowded at all, to be honest. It's just a lot of standard pieces. Just a lot of standard pieces we usually get and stuff like that. Like you got your actual main villain. You've got a complicated relationship. You've got your basic cannon fodder henchmen. These are all kind of standard ones. So I don't personally feel like it's getting all that crowded at this point, to be honest with you. There's actually not a lot of characters in this show, to be frank. All right. Anyway, Mander Ma writes, I think I saw Anne and Ray in the crowd at SmackDown. I wouldn't be surprised. Somehow, some way, whenever Anne's in a crowd, somehow she ends up on the camera. I don't know how, but she just does. I hope so. All right. And by the way, if any of you guys saw SmackDown or see SmackDown and you think you catch Ann and Ray in the crowd, then do me a favor and screenshot it and email it to me, because I assume they probably got some pretty decent tickets, because Kaori, our friend Kaori, she is dating Nigel McGuinness from NXT. So she's been dating Nigel for years now. And so Nigel was able to get them tickets, which is great. So they might have even been pretty good tickets. So if you guys actually see them, please take a screenshot for me and send it my way. I would love to see that. All right. Next up, Liam in Japan writes, unfortunately, we don't get Spider-Man until January 7th here. Thoughts on coordinated international release dates? Hey, listen, I've said for years and years and years, the best thing studios and exhibitors could do is have a flat day global release date. It would kill piracy. It would do a lot. Now, I understand that's not always possible. That what is a great release date for one movie in one country might be a national holiday in another country that isn't good for movies to release on. And so you got to move it around. And maybe in that country, their biggest movie going weekend of the year is actually 2 weeks later. So let's put it there. So I've always felt like do a one global release date thing. But I acknowledge that's easier said than done. Because what might be the right release date in one country might not be the right release date in another country. So which country do you service, right? So in an ideal world, single day release date in an ideal world. All right. Next up, we got Sully writes, have you seen pitch meetings on YouTube? I live them. I talk about them all the time. I think that dude's brilliant. I mean, it's a little bit of a ripoff. It is a little bit of a ripoff of, I forget the girl's name now. Why am I forgetting her name? She competed against me once in the Star Wars Celebration Star Wars movie trivia competition. And she did the pitch meeting for Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's Jenny something. I don't know if any of you guys remember her name. It's Jenny something or other, and I cannot remember her name. But Jenny, the pitch meeting stuff is a little bit of a ripoff of what Jenny started doing. She started to make those videos and they were great. Johnny619. Yes, Johnny561. Jenny Nichols. That's her name. Thank you very much. So Jenny Nichols actually came up with that. And I think she was doing it. I might be incorrect, and forgive me if I'm incorrect about this. I'm only telling you my perception of it. I might be wrong, but I think Jenny was doing those before the pitch meeting Screen Rant things were going on. But that being said, the dude who does those for Screen Rant is brilliant. Brilliant. I love those things. I really do. I think he does a tremendous job with those. All right. Nicholson. That's right. Jenny Nicholson, not Nichols. Jenny Nicholson. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Well said. All right. Next up, Edgar Navarro writes, so is this the show where XXX movies get reviewed? Yes. Today we are here to discuss the brand new conclusion to the trilogy, Anal Invaders 4. How could I say 5 if I just said it was a trilogy? Who cares? It's the porn industry. The end of the trilogy, Anal Invaders 5. The Revenge. Yes, this is where we discuss and review adult films. No, it's not. Anal Invader. I don't know where I came up with that. Anal Invaders 5. Anyway, yeah. Now I'm just waiting now for somebody to write in. Excuse me, John. Yeah. Do I need to see Anal Invaders 1, 2, 3, and 4 to watch 5? Like, will I be lost if I try to watch Anal Invaders 5 without seeing 1, 2, 3, and 4? That's a good question. That's a good question. But yeah, no, we're not going to be doing that here. Okay. How did I come up with that? I have no idea. All right. My Comic Planet writes, I just started watching the Netflix show The Last Kingdom, and oh my God, I'm completely hooked. Not quite as good as Game of Thrones, but it's damn close. Have you seen it? I've seen it marketed, but listen, I've got so much TV. I've got so much TV that I am behind on. I am dying to watch Dexter. I'm dying to watch Dexter, and I still haven't had time to watch it. I am trying to get caught up, to stay caught up on Mayor of Kingstown, which, by the way, if you are not watching Jeremy Renner's Mayor of Kingstown, you should. It is the best Jeremy Renner show on TV right now. John, there's only two, I know. But if I could only watch one Jeremy Renner show right now, it would be Mayor of Kingstown. It's awesome. So I'm watching Yellowstone. I'm watching Mayor of Kingstown. The Expanse just started up again. It just started its final season, so I'm watching that. Wheel of Time, I'm watching. I always watch Chicago PD. That's kind of my guilty pleasure show. I love watching Chicago PD, so I'm watching Chicago PD. And I don't have time to watch all of that. So, no, but I've seen that advertised. I know my friend likes it a lot. I just don't know if I'll ever get a chance to getting around to watch it. But thank you for the recommendation, my comic plan. I appreciate that. All right, next up. Crashing Coyote writes, Hawkeye's action is okay, doesn't hold a candle to Arrow. Look, even when I loved Arrow, the action was always iffy. Let's just say that. The action in Arrow was always a little bit iffy. I really loved the show for a while. I thought it was great television, but even when I thought the show was great, I would be pleasantly surprised when they would have an episode with legitimately really good action. Because normally I didn't find the action all that great. All right, Crashing Coyote writes, oh, sorry, that was Crashing Coyote. Jonathan Nimela writes, hello, Campea. Will the chameleon be in No Way Home? Switching from character to character, they did set up Dimitri in Far From Home. What do you think? No, I don't think so. That's just bringing in an entirely new storyline, and I don't think they have room. They have room to bring in characters. I don't think they have room to bring in storylines like that. So my guess, and it's just a guess, my guess is that no. Now, we may see him again at some point in the future. I don't expect that we're going to see him in this one. I could be wrong. But my guess right now, Jonathan, is that we probably won't see them here. So that's my guess at any rate. Okay, next up. Savage McFilthy just sends in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you, Savage McFilthy. I appreciate that. By the way, that reminds me, up in my hometown of Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, there was a great sports bar that I used to love going to. I love the food. It was a great atmosphere, a good place to go watch the hockey game, whatever. And the name of the place was Filthy McNasty's. I don't even know if it still exists. Because, yeah, I mean, I moved out of Hamilton over a decade ago now, but I don't know if Filthy McNasty's is still there or not. Any of you guys from the Southern Ontario area, you absolutely should let me know. Let me know if Filthy McNasty's still exists or not. I would love to know. I would absolutely love to know. All right, next up. We've got, where are we at? We are at... Sorry, my thing just jumped all over the place here. Okay, we already did James. We did Prince Zodiac. We did Jonathan. Okay, here we are. We are at, okay, Johnny Weiner writes in. Headed to C2E2 Con tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what that is. Can't wait. Haven't been there since the day before the start of the pandemic. By the way, Shuri actress might get fired from Black Panther 2. Again, don't listen to any of the reports that went out today. Just wait to hear something official. None of those reports came from actual reliable news sources. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's absolutely not true. I'm just saying it's not worth worrying about until we hear something. But they are in a predicament right now since she can't get back to being on set because she refuses to get vaccinated. So there could be a problem there. All right. Prince Zodiac writes, Marvel's really recasting Shuri and not T'Challa. Well, I mean, they're kind of, by the way, again, guys, there has been no legitimate information about that. Okay. There has been no legitimate story about that. As a matter of fact, it looks like, oh no, Big Fan 2019 said Filthy McNasty's is permanently closed in Hamilton. That fucking sucks. Although Sam Costos mentions Jack Astor's. Jack Astor's is another place I really liked, by the way. Is good. And I think it's New York now too. But Filthy McNasty's is closed. That sucks. I like Jack Astor's. I love Filthy McNasty's. Anyway, yeah, as far as I can tell, here, I'll show you. Let me look up here. Hold a second. Let me see. When I look up the Letitia Wright news, right? You want to know? This is the #1 site that comes up. Okay. This is the number one site that comes up when you look for the news on Letitia Wright not returning to Black Panther. It's We Got This Covered. That seems to be the primary place spreading this around. So I would pay no attention to it. As a matter of fact, I mean, a more reliable site is Slash Film. And Slash Film is now saying that Black Panther Wakanda Forever is resuming production in January with Letitia Wright. Yeah. So Slash Film and comicbook.com are both saying that they are resuming production with Letitia Wright. Now, whether they do or they don't, who knows? But again, just be whenever you hear news like that, pay attention to where the news is coming from. And when I say where the news is coming from, I don't mean which site did you read it on. I mean, where did the site you read it on get it from? So you might have read it on your buddy's blog, but my question is, where did your buddy's blog get it from? And then go and track it back to see where it originally came from. Because yeah, I feel like somebody put something out and all of a sudden everybody's taking that as fact. So, I mean, according to Slash Film and comicbook.com, they're saying they are resuming shooting next month with Letitia Wright. So there goes that. All right, next up. Laurie Adamson writes, let's see. By the way, Jonathan Grant saying, hey, John, watching from Scotland. Thanks for watching from Scotland, man. All right, Laurie Adamson writes, I saw Robert Meyer Burnett's channel earlier. He intimated there are characters in No Way Home that no one is talking about. Looking forward to potential jaw-dropping moments. I can endorse that. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to leave it right there, Lori. Going to leave it right there. All right. Francisco Rodriguez Jr. writes, hey, John, saw Being the Ricardos. I'm seeing that on Sunday. Very excited about that. Tonight, and I absolutely loved it. Maybe my favorite of the year, though I get why a lot of people may not love it. I can't wait, okay? Based on Lucille Ball, good enough. Aaron Sorkin directing it, good enough. Starring one of the greatest actresses of our time, with one of the greatest actors of our time. I mean, you're talking Nicole Kidman, Javier Bardem, J.K. Simmons. I mean, my expectations are going in pretty high, man. I'm glad you had a good time with it. I'm going to be seeing it on Sunday. That's when we got our tickets for me and Ann. All right, Rachel Knight online writes, hey, John, me again. What's a Christmas classic that everyone loves that you can't stand? For me, it's Frosty the Snowman. I love Frosty the Snowman. Much love and Merry Christmas. Oh, man, the only one I can think of, and let me make sure I get this right. I just want to make sure this is the right title. Yeah, the only one, you may laugh or be totally, totally offended that I'm going to say this one. I don't know if any of you can guess which one I'm going to say. I don't know if any of you guys know what I'm going to say in the live chat. It's not Lost in, it's not Home Alone 2. Home Alone 2 is not a Christmas classic. So no, it's not Home Alone 2. I love Charlie Brown. I really like Elf, but I don't think Elf's a Christmas classic. You're going to be upset with me. You're going to be upset with me. And no, it's not Die Hard, because Die Hard's not even a Christmas movie. Everybody Loves Wonderful Life. Bad Santa isn't a Christmas classic. Somebody got it. Drew W. got it. Drew W. got it. I'm not a big fan of A Christmas Story. I know everybody is. Everybody is. Everybody loves Christmas Story, whether it's that damn BB gun or the pole or whatever. Everybody loves A Christmas Story. I don't hate it. Let me be clear. I don't hate that movie. I just watch it. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get what the big appeal of it is. But hey, everybody loves it, and God bless. It's just, yeah, the leg lamp is great. I'd love to have the leg lamp, but yeah, just not one that's really for me. All right. Thanks for asking. All right. Next up, we've got Jay Studdert writes, Hey, John, just wanted to say hello. Hello, Jay Studdard. I've been watching you a little over a month now since Kim and Ray joined. Aw, thank you so much, man. And I love your content. Watching West Side Story tomorrow. Hope it meets my expectations. You and me both, man. You and me both. I am very excited about that. Cannot wait to see it. Again, I was supposed to see it last night, but unfortunately wasn't able to get around to doing that. So we moved our tickets to tomorrow. Cannot wait to see it. Very stoked about it. So I hope you have a good time, dude. I hope you have a good time because I hope so too. All right, next up. Caleb Fitzpatrick writes, where'd it go? Oh yeah. Hey, big fan from New Zealand. Thank you so much. Do you still think Spider-Man No Way Home will have a third trailer? I do. I still think it will. I mean, like I said the whole time, I don't know that they will. But I think that they will. I mean, it's getting late though. If they're going to have a third trailer, they better do it soon. They better do it soon if they're going to do it. All right. Stephen Wolf the Great writes, from New Zealand, John. Good to have you here. You've helped me so much through a dark time. Got the press screening for Spidey in 4 days. Insanely excited. I didn't think it was going to happen, to be honest with you. But I actually ended up getting an invite to a screening of Spider-Man on Monday. I opted not to go because, there are some movies that I just have decided not to go see. Like I didn't go to the press screening of Man of Steel because I wanted to see it with the audience. But we've got our own private theater booked. Thank you, Sony and Disney. We've got our own private theater for the very first day, the 16th, early in the day, with us, our friends. Some of you viewers are going to be, that we've sent invitations to, are going to be joining us. And I thought, you know what? That's when I want my first viewing to be. I want my first viewing to be that. But I hope you have a really good time, man. And I hope you enjoy it, man. All right. Next up. Where are we at? Next one we're at is Lighthammer66 writes, No Way Home will be my 55th birthday present to myself. And happy birthday. I hope it's on the 16th. I hope you're able to see it a little bit early. Hopefully not have it spoiled for you too much before it comes out. But happy birthday to you in advance, Lighthammer. And may you have a glorious birthday, sir. All right. Next up, Eric Mandugiano writes, Hey, John. A huge fan of the show. Thank you so much, Eric. We're glad that you watch. I was wondering if you saw the No Way Home suits in the Spider-Man game on the PS5. The black and gold suit is definitely just the regular one inside out. Happy holidays. I haven't honestly paid much attention to that. I haven't, nor do I plan on paying much attention to that. So I can't really say inside out and backwards, but I'll tell you what, Eric, now that I got my PS5, I am going to download I'm going to download Spider-Man again because I already purchased it. So it's on my account. I'm going to download it again. I'm going to start playing the game again because I didn't get terribly far into the game because you guys know, I am a mouse and keyboard. When I play video games, I need a mouse and keyboard. I'm terrible trying to use a controller unless it's a Nintendo Switch. But I'm terrible at using a controller, but my brain is just not wired that way to move like that. So I got pretty frustrated with Spider-Man, gave up on it, and just watched the cutscene movie of the game. But I think now that I got my PS5, I'm going to get back into the game and give it a shot again. All right, next up. And thanks for watching, Eric. All right, Casey Mack writes, When I watch a new show, I usually give it a 5-episode test. If I like 3 to 2 of those episodes of that show, I usually keep watching, but if it goes the negative way, I stop. I don't. 5 episodes to me is too much. I don't owe any show that kind of time. You got one shot to get me on board. Like if I watch a first episode and I know I don't like it, I'm not going to waste my time. There are other shows I could be watching and enjoying. See, that's the thing about today. There is so much content out there that when you choose to, here's the thing, and this is the truth. When you choose to watch something, you are actively choosing not to watch something else because you only got so many hours in a day, especially if you're somebody like me and you're really busy. When I choose to sit down and watch a new episode of The Expanse, I'm making a choice not to watch 15 other things. Because I only got so much time, I can only watch so much. And so in that reality, when a show that catches my attention and I think I'm going to give a shot to, I don't give them a lot of leeway because I could be watching something else. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And so if I watch the first episode, if I hate the first episode, then forget it. I'm done. If I watch the first episode, it's like, there might be something here. I'll give it 1 or 2 more episodes. If I really like the first episode, I'll give it a few. But yeah, man, it's like, I don't owe that TV show anything. I don't owe it my time. You've got to earn my time. Like if you're a show and you want me to watch when I got 50 other things I could be watching, the onus is on you to earn my time. You got to earn me watching your episodes. Because there's 50 other things I could be watching. And if your show's not for me, I'm not going to waste 3 more episodes of time watching when I could be watching something else that I do enjoy. So, I mean, everybody's got a different system. KC, you've got one system, you got like a 5-episode system. Some people will watch an entire season no matter if they love it or hate it. I've got a much shorter leash on new shows. It's like you got 1 episode to convince me to watch the next one, and even then you've only got a couple of episodes to convince me that this is a show I should watch. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It could be. I mean, it could go that way. Don't really know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Well, we'll see. Okay. Next up, we've got, who's next? Josh Molinari writes, hey, John, so it's been reported that No Way Home is expected to open between $200 and $250 million opening weekend, plus an additional $250 million international opening, $500 million thoughts. Well, first of all, I never discuss international numbers for opening weekend because that's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant what a movie makes internationally on opening weekend. The reason being is because every movie opens in a different number of countries than every other movie. Some movies will open in 9 countries. Some movies will open in 49 countries. So it's complete. Whenever you're talking about opening weekend, you should only talk about domestic opening weekend because that's the only way to have an apples to apples comparison. That's the record. That's the record. That's the official record, is when you're talking about domestic opening weekend. Now, as far as that goes, I do not believe it's going to hit 250. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be more than my initial estimates. Like my initial estimates was like probably around 150. It was probably going to be around 150. But, I mean, who knows at this point? Who knows? I certainly hope that it could get into those numbers where it's making, where it gets into the same numbers where we're talking about it setting records. You know what I mean? That it gets to the point that it's hitting the kind of numbers that we can think like, oh my God, like it's making this kind of money and whatever. And this is a top 15 or a top 20 or a top 50 or a top 100, whatever kind of show or a kind of movie. I hope it gets to that. But the reality is, I just don't think 250 is realistic. I hope it does. I now think it'll exceed that 150 million that I initially guessed. I think it can break that 150 million that I initially guessed. I think 200 million may even be in play, but I just don't see 250 million. As far as the international numbers, it's irrelevant. I don't really care about the international numbers until we're talking about the overall box office totals. But for opening weekend, all you should ever worry about is what is the domestic, because every movie opens in different numbers of countries, so it's never an apples to apples comparison. So there's that. But we'll see, man. I mean, listen, you got to understand the current record during the pandemic era for the biggest opening weekend is Venom 2 at $90 million. Spider-Man could double that. Like just even if it got 150, right? Let's go on the low end, say 150. That is insane numbers. Those are insane numbers. That's like, that is destroying the current record. So what I don't want to hear from anybody is if it comes out and it makes like 145 million, which is like 55 million more than the current record. Like 55 million more than the current record. There are going to be people that go, oh, why did Spider-Man fail? Oh, why did Spider-Man fail? It's like, what are you talking about? It like destroyed the current record. Like you got to look, as much as people like to be in denial, the reality is that we still live in a pandemic era. And according to a huge study done and reported in Variety last week that we talked about on the show, 49% of moviegoers prior to the pandemic have not yet gone back to the movies yet. So if you don't think that's going to affect the box office numbers, you're living on another planet. So if Spider-Man No Way Home comes out and makes $150 million, you fucking pop bottles. That's awesome. If it hits 200 million, that's incredible. But I can just see it now. Spider-Man No Way Home, say, makes, I don't know, $170 million, right? $170 million, obliterating the record, the current record in a pandemic era. And there's going to be people out there who try to spin it negatively. Oh, why did it fail? I heard that it could make as much as 250 million. Oh, what happened? What went wrong with Spider-Man? Like, and it's that kind of short-sighted thinking, completely short-sighted thinking that just drives me crazy. And hey, if it goes over 200 million and gets close to 250, awesome. Awesome. I think it has a chance of cracking 200. I do, but I just see if it makes 150, if it makes 145, make no mistake about it. That is awesome result. That is an awesome result. Maybe not awesome in a pre-pandemic era, but we don't live in the pre-pandemic era anymore. If it makes 145, it's awesome. And if it gets 200, incredible. If it gets close to 250, that's insane. All right, next up. Where are we at here? Okay, Jay Master sends in like a $50 super chat. Thank you, Jay Master, for supporting our channel on that level, dude. That's incredibly generous of you. Thanks, man. Jay Master writes, hey, John, have you read the news on Variety of, oh boy, I always want to say Amanda. I want to make sure I pronounce the name right. Amandla Stenberg. She's from the Hate U Give. Loved their performance in that. Love that performance. Anyway, she appeared in the Hunger Games. They played, what was the name of the young, like, not Newt. The name of the little girl wasn't Newt, but she was the little girl. Anyway, is in talks to join the upcoming Disney Plus series, The Acolyte, and live action Star Wars series from Leslie Headland. You guys know that's a series I'm really excited about. Like I said, the performance in The Hate U Give was great. If this actually works out, it's a fantastic casting. But I don't know. Look, the one thing I'll say about it is that I'm tremendously excited to know that The Acolyte is not dead. Because it's been a while. Like, I didn't think it was canceled. Don't get me wrong. I never thought it was canceled. But it has been a while. It had been a while since we heard any legitimate news about it. Like half a year or more since we actually heard of any movement, any kind of legitimate news about it. So I'm just happy to hear that things are actually happening on The Acolyte. You know what I'm saying, Jay? Because other than Rogue Squadron, more than Ahsoka, more than Obi-Wan, hell, even more than Book of Boba Fett, which I'm very excited about, Acolyte was the one. That's the one that got me most interested. So I'm just happy, dude, to hear that the damn thing's still alive. Just happy to hear it's still alive. All right, thanks for that, Jay. Next up, Irvin Allen writes, and tips in like $20. Thank you, Irvin, for supporting our channel on that level, dude. One of three. Mr. Campea, it was great running into you a couple of months back at Electrify Expo. Oh, that's right. You know, Ann and I had been looking for electric cars, and we went to this great event called Electrify Expo where they were showing off a whole bunch of electric vehicles. And I met a number of our viewers at it, which was great. So I guess you were one of those, Irvine. Thank you so much for coming up and saying hi if you did. Obviously, you got your Tesla, but did Ann find an e-bike? Yes, she did. I got her an e-bike. And she actually bought one that was there at Electrify America. I can't remember the name of the brand, though, off the top of my head. I cannot remember the name of the brand. Anyway, he writes, just returned from West Side Story. Nice. I'm a huge Spielberg fan. Who isn't? But I was still wondering if he could pull off dancing gangs set in the 1950s for today's audience. Granted, I have a positive memory of the original, which released the year I was born. Sure enough, he pulled it off. Got great performances and will probably be in the Oscar hunt. Listen, man, I'm not, listen, it's so weird for me, Irvin, and by the way, thank you for writing in. Thanks for coming up and saying hi at Electrify America. It is so weird for me to have a Steven Spielberg movie coming out that I'm not really all that excited about, because he is my favorite filmmaker of all time. And I think he's the greatest filmmaker of all time. But I just haven't been all that interested in West Side Story, even though the original's so good. But I've been hearing nothing but amazing things about it. I'm hearing a lot of people even saying it's better than the original. And the original won Best Picture at the Academy Awards. So I am very excited, and I was very happy to hear he took out the dance fighting. I'm very happy he took out the dance fighting, if that's the case. So I'm very sorry. Again, I was supposed to see it last night, but something that I won't discuss came up, and Ann and I had to move our movie to tomorrow, unfortunately. But good news is I'll see it tomorrow. I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for giving me that report, dude. I appreciate that very much. All right. Sully writes, what's the reaction if only one of TMAG? Oh, Tobey Maguire. And guys, please don't use acronyms. What is the reaction if only one of Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield are in it? It depends on if the movie's any good. Hopefully, audiences aren't complete frickin' morons and will judge the movie based on the merits of the movie. If the movie's good, judge it positively. If you didn't think the movie was good, then judge it negatively. Don't go, wow, this movie's amazing, this movie's amazing, this movie's amazing, and then only one of the two Spider-Men show up. I hate this movie now. They didn't do what I wanted them to do. So hopefully, we, the audience, are not a bunch of insufferable little fucktwits, and hopefully we know to do that well enough. So hopefully, whether both of them, only one of them, or neither of them are in it, will have nothing to do with what our reaction to the film is overall. If it's in it and it works, great. If they're not, but the movie's great, awesome. Hopefully, that's how we judge it. Hopefully, that's how we judge it. So you never know. All right. Jamie Sundays writes, I'm going to my first Q&A screening tomorrow, going to watch Sean Baker's new film, Red Rocket. Nice. I love Sean Baker's directing, especially after his brilliant Tangerine and Florida project. Was that, wait a second, did he direct, is that the one with Willem Dafoe? Is that where, I didn't realize, hold a second. Let's see. It's not the same one, is it? Oh, it is the same one. It is the one he did with Willem Dafoe. I didn't even realize that was him, to be honest with you. I didn't even realize that. You know, I'm not even familiar with Red Rocket. So listen, these are getting kind of blurry. Going to these, like, one of the things I've really appreciated most about living in LA and in the LA area is going to like Q&A screenings. I love those things. They are a lot of fun. I remember like my first week, I think, of being in LA, like either my first week or like my first month of being in LA, the ArcLight Cinema in Hollywood, which is now closed down, but they had a big screening of Tootsie, like the classic Dustin Hoffman movie Tootsie. And they had the Q&A with the director, with Dustin Hoffman and a couple of people. And it was just an awesome event. And ever since then, I try to go to as many of those as I can. So I hope you have a great time at that, Jamie. All right. Next up. Irvin, we already got Irvin Allen. All right, Casey Mack writes, have you been keeping up with The Shrink Next Door? Thoughts? Nope, haven't even started watching it yet. I've been dying to see it. Paul Rudd, you know, I am a huge Paul Rudd guy. Will Ferrell, desperate to see it, but we just haven't had a chance to start watching it yet. So Ann and I are going to get on that. Listen, this is how busy we've been. There's a Tom Hanks movie out on Apple. I think it's on Apple TV Plus, right? There's a Tom Hanks movie. You know how Ann feels about Tom Hanks. We haven't watched it yet. Like, that's how behind we are. So have not kept up with it yet, but we're going to binge it. We're definitely going to binge it. We really want to see it. So I'm excited about it. All right. Next up. Listen, where are we? There we go. Ketchup on Eggs writes, I just got out of seeing West Side Story. I loved it. The original drags in the third act, and this iteration fixes that. Terminal's better. Terminal. You and Ray with Terminal. I'm glad to hear it. I have heard nothing but Oscar buzz about this movie. That's all I've heard. Everybody talks about how great it is, and I'm so glad to hear it because I've had my doubts. Like, this is the first Steven Spielberg movie in a long time that I haven't been excited to see until I started hearing everybody saying it's absolutely magnificent. So thank you for giving me your update on that, Ketchup. All right, next up. Steppenwolf the Great writes, hey, John, me again. Tech question. I love tech questions. Developing a podcast, got the gear. Any recommendations on editing software for the beginner level? There's a couple of things. One, if just real simple and basic, if you have a Mac computer, use GarageBand. GarageBand is great. It really is. Other than that, the one I like to use is Adobe Audition. Adobe Audition is fabulous. I love using, now that requires you to have, Adobe Creative Cloud. That's not super cheap, but you can get a cheaper subscription to it. But all other things being equal, if you don't need to find a free piece of software, and there are some good free pieces of software out there. Like I said, just a good starting one is GarageBand. GarageBand does great. A lot of really good popular podcasts will just use GarageBand. I personally like to use Adobe Audition, so hopefully one of those will work out for you, man. And good luck on that. All right, next up. Let's see here. Jamie Sundays writes, also, I highly recommend the 2007 film The Visitor by director Tom McCarthy starring Richard Jenkins. I remember that. That is one, I remember when we wrote about that. And hold a second. Let me bring this up. Give me 1 second. This is not the one I was looking for. Hold a second. That is not the one I was looking for. Hold a second. Let me just see if I can get this right. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Richard Jenkins is so good in this. And by the way, it's got everybody's favorite, not Okoye. What's Danny Guerrero's name in Black Panther? Why am I freezing on? It's not Okoye. Or is it Okoye? I thought Okoye was the other one. Who does Danny play again? Anyway, it's got Danny in it, and she's absolutely wonderful. That's a movie, like that movie's now like almost 15 years old. And it is Okoye. Okay, so what was... Anyway, I'll worry about that another time. So this is the one that really put Richard Jenkins on that. Like, Richard Jenkins had done a lot of great stuff prior to the Visitor, but that's the movie for me that made me really go, oh my God, like this dude's awesome. And then that's when I started really kind of recognize him in everything after that. And if I'm not mistaken, 1 second, let me just look something up here. Yeah, that's right. Because he didn't do Step Brothers until after The Visitor, right? So that's why when I saw The Visitor, it was like, that's the first one that I really went, oh my gosh. And like, again, we had seen him in other things. He's one of those actors where you'd seen his face, but you never knew his name, right? You'd seen his face, but you never knew his name. That's the one where I just started knowing his name. And then you see him pop up in Step Brothers, and Step Brothers is, by the way, one of my all-time favorite comedies. That scene with Richard Jenkins sitting at the dinner table when they're announcing that him and Will Ferrell's mom are going to get divorced. She goes, we want you to know it's not your fault. He goes, oh, let's be honest, it is your fault. I mean, it's just, I love him in that. The fucking what's the name of it? fucking Catalina wine mixer. That's what it is. Fucking Catalina wine mixer. Anyway, okay. Sorry, I get sidetracked. Next up, we got Sidious Swift, who writes, asking kindly, when's the After Dark with the background dancers and smoking jacket happening? Keep up the great work. Well, we addressed that earlier. Again, whenever I can. At some point, I'll try to get one episode with go-go dancers in the background. I don't know how I'm going to afford it or where I'm going to find them, but I will, at some point, I will make that happen. All right. I'll probably never have a smoking jacket, though, because I don't own one of those. All right. Gabriel Baker writes, hi, are the emails sent out yet for the No Way Home tickets? No, that was going to happen yesterday. But again, something came up yesterday that prevented me from seeing West Side Story, prevented me from doing a lot of things I was going to do. So no, they haven't gone out, but they will go out tomorrow. They'll go out tomorrow. All right. Next up, Jamie Sundays writes, it's such a beautiful film about friendship and hospitality. I was smiling through scenes from ear to ear and devastated towards the end. And listen, do take Jamie's advice here. If you get a chance to see The Visitor, do check it out, especially to appreciate. I mean, a guy like Richard Jennings is an actor who deserves a lot more attention, a lot more appreciation. So do go and check that out. All right. Guy from Kings Highway writes, more excited about Spider-Man than Christmas. I'm not. I mean, I'm super excited about Spider-Man. I am. But I'm not going to lie to you. Christmas is my favorite day of the year. Because Christmas to me isn't just about movies. It's about, there's so many things about life that I just appreciate on Christmas. There's so many things I appreciate about the world and my fellow human beings and my family and my loved ones and stuff like that. And Christmas is my favorite day of the year. That's why whenever I talk about the Oscars are my second favorite day of the year. Christmas is always my favorite day of the year. Even if you had Man of Steel 2 coming out tomorrow or a brand new Star Wars movie coming out tomorrow, Christmas will still be the day for me. I'm a Christmas guy. I love Christmas. All right. Next up, James Lockman writes, any chance we'll get a 10-minute sneak peek of Across the Spider-Verse at the No Way Home showing like they did with the first Venom film? Nah, I think it's way too far off. I don't think they have enough ready for it. So I don't expect, and honestly, times have changed even since the first Venom movie came out. There's no point in doing a promo for it right now. The movie's too far away. So there's really literally no point. So no, I don't think we'll get that like we did for, besides the Venom one is a Sony proper movie, as opposed to this one, which is a Sony Marvel partnership. So I really don't think we will. And I just feel like it's way too early. I think it would be a mistake to do it, but who knows, James? You never know. It's totally possible. All right. Gabriel Besser writes, what do you think about the Brazilian movie City of God and Elite Squad? I have not seen Elite Squad. I love City of God. All right. Ben Robinson writes, any favorite Australian movies? If not, check out Two Hands with Heath Ledger, a pure classic worth a watch. I don't think I've seen that one. And listen, to be honest with you, other than the movie Australia with Hugh Jackman and I believe Nicole Kidman, I don't know what an Australian movie is. I don't think I could tell you off the top of my head what movies in Australian, like which movies I've seen are specifically Australian movies, other than Australia itself. All right, next up, we've got Casey Mack who writes, as a topic for Monday with that Fantastic Beasts 3 trailer coming out, will it be good? Try this again. Will it be good? Who knows? I do have an interest just because Mads Mikkelsen, though. I'm telling you what, look, I really do like Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. I like, even though I'm not a big Potterhead, I like that movie more than I think most Potter fans do. I thought it was actually quite good. And I honestly thought the best part of it was Johnny Depp playing Grindelwald. I thought Johnny Depp was great in the role. That being said, if you must replace him, Mads Mikkelsen is a damn good replacement. I mean, if you can get Mads Mikkelsen in your movie, that's awesome. So again, I thought Johnny Depp was great in it. I would have been more than happy to see him in it again. But if you're not going to have him in there, Mads Mikkelsen is a great replacement for it. Really, really is. All right, next up, Corey Bratton writes, hey, John, congrats on the new car. Thank you. Me and my girl just got a 2018 Honda Civic. That was my wife's car before we just got her the new one. She loved the Honda Civic. Like I said, she had that thing for 12 years. 12 years and almost 200,000 miles she had that thing. Loved the Civic. Anyway, Just got a 2018 Honda Civic, not a Tesla, but it's great on gas. Love the show. Thank you. And I think you're going to really like that car. My wife has loved the Honda Civic. I hope it'll serve you well, Corey. All right, next up. Guy from Kings Highway writes, what would you do if you were Ray for a day? Cook. Ray is awesome at cooking. If I could be him and have his skills for a day, I would love to cook. Because, man, that dude, I mean, I can cook. I'm Italian, so I can cook a bit, but not as good as Ray. Ray he's got a natural gift, like a real natural gift. All right. Fredo writes, how hype are you about Gore the God Butcher? How hype are you about Christian Bale playing Gore? Here's the thing. I have this thing about who the villains are in a movie is I don't care. I don't care who the villains are. Having a great comic book villain in the movie will not make the movie any better. What? Listen, one of the greatest comic book villains of all time, I think everybody would agree, is Dr. Doom, right? Victor Von Doom is one of the, at least probably a top 3 greatest comic book villain ever. Putting him in the Fantastic Four movies did not make those movies any better. It doesn't matter which comic book villain you put in. All that matters is how well do you write it. How good of a movie do you build around them, and how well do you write that character? It's all that matters. That's why you can get a comic book movie with kind of a lesser known villain, but it's awesome and it works out great. So it's not that I'm not hyped for Gore the God Butcher. Although I think it's very cool. I think that's super cool. I am more interested that you got Christian Bale in it, because Christian Bale has never even wanted to do comic book movies again. After Batman, he said he wasn't going to do comic book movies anymore. So how good must this script be that Christian Bale looked at it and looked at the writing of this character and said, yeah, I'll play that. See, that's kind of exciting to me. That part is kind of exciting to me. All right. Cordless Cordy writes, hi, John. I know this movie got mixed to negative reviews, but I love this movie. It's called Devil 2010, M. Night Shyamalan, 5 people trapped in an elevator and one of them's the actual devil. I remember that movie. And you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't love it. But I remember being at Comic-Con. This is where M. Night's career was kind of going a little bit downhill, because the trailer started playing at Comic-Con for, I was at an event. I think it was at Comic-Con. It might've been another event, but I think it was at Comic-Con. Anyway, and they started playing the trailer for Devil, right? And then about halfway through the trailer, the words came on screen from the visionary mind of M. Night Shyamalan. I think he was a producer of it, whatever, but from visionary M. Night Shyamalan. And the audience laughed. They laughed. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So yeah, by the end of it, I didn't love it, but I didn't think it was all that bad. I didn't think Devil was all that bad myself. I'm glad you enjoyed it though, dude. It was definitely an interesting film. All right. Quentin Marcus writes, if you had to cast a future villain, what villain? I have no idea what you mean by that. If you had to cast a future villain, what villain? Like, if I was going to put a villain in a movie, what villain would I put in a movie? Is that what you're asking? I don't understand the question, Quentin. Sorry about that, dude. All right. Shadow Dragon Productions writes, have you heard of Zoids or Gundam? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I grew up with that stuff. So if they could work, if so, could they work as a TV show or movie? Listen, I'll give you the answer I always give. Everything could work as a TV show or a movie. Everything. If you can make a Lego movie about plastic building blocks and make that work, anything can work. I could take this microphone, you guys know what I'm going to say, and I could write a show around it called Felipe the Sentient Dancing Microphone. That, if you write the right script and have the right director and the right story idea and whatever, it can work. Will it work is another question. But anything, I could right now reach down, pluck out a couple of my testicle hairs and say, this is Modi and Godi, the testicle hair duo, la 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 la, and they go on their adventures. If you listen, that could work. It could. That's a disturbing thought, but it could. So yes, anything can work. Anything can. Not everything will, but it all comes down to what's your story idea? How do you write it? Do you develop the characters well? Do you have the right director to do all that kind of stuff? Do you cast it right? That's the thing. So no, I like Zoids and Gundam. Look, am I going to jump up and down and see a Zoids thing? No, but if you market it right, and again, bottom line is anything could happen. So sure, Goids and Gundam could, or they could not, but yeah, we'll go. All right. Next up. What did I name my testicle hairs? By the way, I just made it up on the spot. I can't even remember what I called them. I can't even remember what I called them. What did I just name them? Anyway, Goinky, I don't know. I don't know. Nobody meme that. Nobody wants that meme. All right. Next up, Dukes is here, writes, hey, John, you see the 3 new Spider-Man No Way Home clips come out? I feel like 3 new clips are coming out every single day. So I don't know which 3 we're talking about. Like I saw one that had the broken mask of Goblin. Like there was a broken Goblin mask on the ground. If that's the ones, then yes. If not, but is it Lodi and Modi? That's right. That's what I named them. Modi and Godi. I'm not crazy, right? Like they've been putting out 3 or 4 new spots every day, right? So if it's the one with the busted Goblin masks, then yes, I did see that set of 3. All right. Beam S. Oh, now we're just into people who just sent in super chat badges to be supportive. S Beam sent in a super chat badge to be supportive. Thank you for that, S Beam. We also got one from They're All Legend X sent in a super chat badge to be supportive. Gabriel Venegas sends in a super chat badge to be supportive, and Carolina 29593 sent in a $20 super chat badge just to be supportive. Thank you guys for sending those in just so you could send in a tip to be supportive. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that a lot, guys. All right. I didn't think this would go 2 hours tonight. What I say when we started, I think I said we'll do like a half hour, 45 minutes. Oh, well, we went 2 hours. That's fine because it's after dark. So anyway, guys, I hope you had a good time. I hope, if you were just hanging around Friday night, maybe you're doing some work or whatever, you needed somebody to keep you company. I hope we were able to do that for you. I have fun doing these. It's just so much more relaxed and I don't even care. I don't care about how long we're running or whatever. So this has been good, although my voice is starting to go a little bit. So we're probably ending it at the right time. But thanks so much for joining me tonight, guys, and hanging out with me. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the super chats and stuff like that. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. Seriously, you did. Thank you so much for that. And number 2, you supported our channel as you did it. And everybody who's involved with the John Campea Show, thanks you guys so very much for your support. All right, guys, we got a big companion video coming tomorrow sometime, so keep your guys' eyes open for that. And then don't forget, we'll be back again on Monday with the John Campea Show. We hope to see you then. All right, guys, that'll do it for me for now, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.